Stop trying to get the apology and start living like you don't need it. The fastest way to never receive an apology from an avoidant is to desperately need one. When someone is begging for acknowledgement of their pain, the avoidant's nervous system interprets this as emotional manipulation and danger. They feel cornered, pressured, and suffocated by the weight of someone else's hurt. Their immediate response is to minimize the damage, deflect responsibility, or disappear entirely to escape the uncomfortable intensity. But when someone stops needing their apology, when they begin healing and moving forward without waiting for acknowledgement, something profound shifts in the avoidant's psyche. They no longer feel the pressure of someone else's emotional demands, which means their defensive walls can finally come down. Only when the avoidant feels emotionally safe can they access the empathy and self-reflection necessary for a genuine apology. The person who stops waiting for an apology demonstrates something powerful. They're not broken by the avoidant's actions. They're not defined by the pain that was caused. They're capable of healing independently, which paradoxically makes the avoidant want to take responsibility for the damage they caused, become completely indifferent to their presence. Avoidants are addicted to knowing they matter even when they've hurt someone. They want to see the impact of their actions reflected in their victim's behavior. When someone continues to react to them, whether through anger, sadness, or desperate attempts at reconciliation, the avoidant feels significant and powerful. Their impact on another person becomes proof of their importance. But indifference is kryptonite to the avoidant ego. When someone treats them like they're completely irrelevant, like their presence or absence makes no difference whatsoever, it creates a psychological crisis. The avoidant realizes they've lost all power in the dynamic. They're no longer the center of someone's emotional universe, no longer the source of pain or hope. This indifference must be authentic, not performed. The avoidant can sense fake detachment from miles away. But when someone genuinely reaches a place where the avoidant's behavior no longer affects their peace, it creates a vacuum that demands to be filled. The avoidant suddenly finds themselves wanting to matter again, and the only way to regain significance is through acknowledgement of their wrongdoing. Show them what they lost by becoming your best self. The most powerful catalyst for an avoidance apology is witnessing the person they hurt thriving without them. When someone takes the pain caused by the avoidant and transforms it into personal growth, professional success, and genuine happiness, it creates a mirror that reflects everything the avoidant threw away. The avoidant watches from the sidelines as their former victim becomes more confident, more attractive, more successful, and more at peace. They see someone who was once broken by their actions now flourishing in ways they never did during the relationship. This transformation serves as undeniable proof that the avoidant's behavior was toxic and damaging. This isn't about revenge or making the avoidant jealous. It's about genuine self-improvement that happens to have the side effect of making the avoidant confront their actions. When they see the person they hurt living their best life, they can no longer minimize the damage they caused or pretend their behavior was justified. The avoidant realizes they had something precious and destroyed it through their own actions. They understand that their behavior didn't just cause temporary pain, it nearly broke someone who deserved so much better. This recognition often triggers genuine remorse and the need to acknowledge their wrongdoing. Let them see you're capable of receiving better treatment. Nothing motivates an avoidant to apologize faster than seeing their former victim accept love and respect from someone else. When the avoidant witnesses the person they hurt being treated with kindness, consistency, and genuine care, it highlights the stark contrast with their own behavior. The avoidant watches someone else give their former victim everything they withheld: emotional availability, consistent communication, genuine affection, and respect. They see their former victim responding to this better treatment by blooming in ways they never did in the toxic dynamic. The avoidant realizes they weren't dealing with someone who was inherently difficult or needy. They were dealing with someone who was simply reacting to being treated poorly. This realization is devastating to the avoidant's ego and their carefully constructed narratives about the relationship. They can no longer blame their former victim for being too much, too needy, or too emotional when they see the same person being perfectly reasonable with someone who treats them well. The contrast forces the avoidant to confront the truth: they were the problem. Their behavior was the source of conflict, drama, and pain. Seeing their former victim thrive with better treatment makes the avoidant want to acknowledge their failures and perhaps reclaim some dignity through a genuine apology. Make them realize they lost someone irreplaceable. The final trigger for an avoidance apology is the devastating recognition that they lost someone irreplaceable through their own actions. This realization typically comes when they try to replace their former victim and discover that no one else loves them as unconditionally, understands them as deeply, or accepts their flaws as completely. The avoidant dates other people and finds them lacking in comparison. New partners don't have the same patience, the same insight, or the same capacity for seeing through their defenses to the wounded person underneath. They realize they had someone who loved them at their worst and supported them through their darkness. And they destroyed that relationship through fear and self-sabotage. This recognition of irreplaceable loss often comes months or even years after the damage was done. The avoidant finally understands what they had, what they lost, and how their behavior contributed to the destruction of something precious. The weight of this realization often compels them to reach out with a genuine apology, not because they want their former victim back, but because they need to acknowledge the magnitude of their mistake and take responsibility for the pain they caused.